break the internet, we're going viral. Don't be jealous because we just girls. We're not teens yet, but we still gonna break the bank. Don't hate because we just girls.
Hello, and welcome to our second episode for Season 14 of America's Got Talent. Cody Patterson here along with
Jay Bach, the one-man bander, ready to bring in Season 2 and talk about the acts, talk about what we saw, any happenings in the AGT universe.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot going on this week, Jay. It was kind of a very quiet week in AGT. All we had was our normal Auditions episode. Nothing of any big surprise at all.
Yeah, no news that I saw. I saw some sort of headlines about Howie's Golden Buzzer this week, but I didn't even click the links. I don't know what the hubbub was. It kind of felt like a clickbaity sort of title, so I don't play in that game.
Yeah, I didn't even see a whole lot of teases for this week's episode like we did for episode 1. Where they teased a couple of the dance act. I didn't see a whole lot this week. So some things were fresh. Of course, when we got to the end, we got to our golden buzzer. That wasn't a big surprise because it's at the end of the episode. So I mean, just not a whole lot big surprise. Not a big surprise of anything. I'm kind of rambling here, Jay.
Yeah. And we got business to get down to. Let's get our contacts out of the way. We love any and every interaction with you guys, with the audience. They can reach us on Twitter, AGT Time. They can reach us on Facebook, AGTcast, or agtcast@gmail.com. You are Cody L. Patterson.
On Twitter, yep.
On Twitter, and I am One Man Bander on Twitter. And we will mention that we did, in fact, get a little bit of feedback, and it brought a smile to my face.
Yes.
And
you have a fan, Jay.
Something like that. The comment was, "Book, you suck," which was really close to my last name, so I'm going to believe that it was sent for me. And you know what? I appreciate it, and this week I've decided that I'm going to not suck for you guys. So,
okay, good. Yeah.
Hopefully that'll make a great episode for you.
Yeah, well, he probably tried to type your name in. Give him credit. He probably typed it in correctly, but then autocorrect was like, no, that's not right. It's got to be Book.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Hey, I'm once like, hey, if comments are comments, that means they listened. Yeah. So
yes, that means they listened, and they felt passionate enough to respond. So
absolutely.
No, really, we do love feedback. If you could maybe be a little bit more helpful with your criticisms, Book, you suck. Try to say less. That would be like something actionable I could do. So
yeah, or I disagreed with your analysis of that act.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid. All right. Okay. So into the acts. We had the first act of the night was a guy named Jonathan Burns. His Twitter was @FlexibleComedy, and I feel like that's a really good descriptor for what he did. Flexible Comedy.
Yeah, that's a good professional Twitter name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He enters the stage by being wheeled on in a suitcase. A little banter with the judges. There was no intro package, and I'm thinking at this point we might be seeing our first buzzer act. But he seems silly and just sort of a goofy guy. I thought for a second that maybe his entire act was just him crawling out of the suitcase. I was a little confused about his setup, but it got better. What was the song? Everybody's working for the weekend.
Working for the weekend. That's right.
Yeah. And then so he takes off his headband. He's wearing a red headband and like a track outfit. Takes off the headband, like shoots it into the audience, and then he quickly replaces it.
He's got like a stash of these things.
Yeah, they're all over the place. He takes off his jacket to reveal that underneath it he has on another jacket. And then we get into maybe more of the comedy. He fits himself through a toilet seat. Then he does a little bit more stripping, takes off the inner jacket and probably a couple more headbands. Then he fits himself through a tennis racket. And it wasn't just like, arm, head, shoulders, down the waist, over the hips. First, he put his like his right leg in, and then he added his arms and head, and then it came off over his left leg. Um, that's no small thing. Like that's different than just sort of fitting through a tennis racket. That's like fitting through it in a different way. And then as his big finale, he, with his shorts on, keeping his shorts on, takes his underwear off by pulling it like all the way down his leg and stepping out of it with one leg and then pulling it out the other leg and off his foot. And of course, he like flings that out into the audience and
Ew, that's so gross. Though.
Tiny whities out there. What did you think of this act, Cody?
So, okay, once Terry rolled the suitcase out onto the stage, I immediately knew it was a contortionist. Right. I think I've seen something very similar to this in the past, maybe not on AGT, but I've seen an act similar to this. I've even seen contortionists fit themselves through specifically tennis rackets, but this guy has some great personality, has a wonderful smile. I loved the Working for the Weekend. That's a fun song to dance to. Yeah, so I hope he can kind of do a little bit more. I mean, he's fun, but I personally have seen some of these before. It may have been fresh to other people, but I like this guy. I can honestly say I've never really taken my underwear off in the way that he did. So he just had a ton of these headbands. He was just shooting them out. I think Julianne put one of them on. This guy's just a lot of fun. I liked him.
He was a lot of fun. I love the character. I love like the goofy dark rimmed glasses, the big toothy smile.
Julianne compared it to like Napoleon Dynamite, and while he was doing his act, I thought the exact same thing. That this was like he looked like Napoleon Dynamite, and this kind of felt like an act that Napoleon Dynamite would have done.
I heard somebody else say Smalls from The Sandlot.
Yes,
it got that kind of style about him, but he's high energy, he's lovable. The judges loved him. Julianne, like you said, Napoleon Dynamite but bendy. Gabrielle said we want to see more. Howie said it makes us all smile. Simon said talent is about making people have a great time, and that's what you did, and I totally agree with it. I thought he was fun. Why was it a great act? Like just pure entertainment from start to finish. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't showy. I think contortionists maybe tend towards like the artsy side instead of the comedy side, the high art.
Yeah, some of the contortionists we've seen in the past, like Sophie Dossie, it's mainly about like their strength and their flexibility, and this seemed more about his entertainment. Yeah,
he, truly entertaining. I think that he could continue to polish the act. It could get a little stale after 2 or 3 viewings, but man, he was good. He was good.
Yeah, I don't know if he has the strength like a Sophie Dossie has, where he can stand on his hands and bend the way that she does, or was it hang from the big ring? I don't, like you say, artsy type stuff. This was more entertainment energy.
Yeah. Like he might be a better street performer than a auditorium performer.
Yeah, agreed.
But purely entertaining and so much fun. Second act was Benicio Bryant, and in her intro package, Simon rejects this girl that's wearing overalls and some other acts, and we see Benny getting nervous and.
I probably want to stop you right there real quick, Jay. Yeah, I think this was a he. I think they kept referring to Benny as a he.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll look into that and make sure that we are using Benny's preferred pronoun. But the song I was not familiar with it. Are you familiar with The Joke?
I am not, by Brandi Carlile. Yeah, I am familiar with Brandi Carlile, but I'm not familiar with The Joke.
Okay. I'm also not familiar with Brandi Carlile. Does she have other songs that I might know?
Probably. And I might be thinking of a different Carlile. Let me go ahead and kind of talk about Benny for a moment while I look that up.
Okay. Well, she was... Benny was... boy, how old is Benny?
14.
14? Okay. I guess I didn't have a lot to say. I don't really love like that throaty singing style. Um, and I guess I need to know, man, I need more singers. I don't need more singers going through. It felt very, very pedestrian. Um, she has some intangibles. The audience seemed to really like her. They seemed to be really behind Benny. Um, what could she do better next time? I don't know. Maybe a little more stage presence. At times, like she seemed really, really small on stage. Like she was kind of lost on stage. I think that maybe she could use a better song choice. She just lacked a lot of that charm that our first act had. I was a little underwhelmed by Benny.
I was too. I'm not sure what made Benny stick out compared to the other. And they even showed a couple of other singers. I think they showed one singing, what's the John Denver song?
Country Roads, was it?
Yeah, I think it was Country Roads. So I really couldn't tell what the difference between what stuck out to them about Benny that didn't stick out about that performance before Benny. So it didn't really wow me in any way. And maybe it was the song choice that really stuck to them, because I think Simon told that singer before Benny, it seemed safe, like everyone knew that song, but in the past they've always told people, hey, sing songs that people know. But this song, I wasn't familiar with this particular song, so I'm not sure why. What was so what those intangibles were about Benny that Simon and all of the other judges liked.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for correcting me on that. I pulled up a little bit of information about Benny, and he's indicated his gender as male. So we're all good there. So my apologies, Benny. I really do prefer to be in front of that and to use people's preferred pronouns. So, I guess I didn't have a lot more to say about Benny. Howie said it got better and better. Gabrielle said you connected with all of us. Julianne said you're the complete package. Simon said there's something about you. You remind me of Harry Styles. I guess I didn't get that, but
yeah, Harry Styles must have been one of the first ones for one of the biggest acts that he has signed, and kind of just compared Harry Styles to Benny. May have been what he was trying to do. I mean, I know Harry Styles is a big deal, and or at least a big deal to some people. So it might have just been important that Benny understand that Simon was saying, you sound like Harry Styles. The importance of what you're doing is similar to what when I signed Harry Styles.
All right. Third act. Do you want to tell us about the Emerald Bells drill team?
Yes, I actually will, because the Emerald Bells drill team from South Lake in South Lake, Texas, which is about 20 minutes from where I went to high school.
Oh, how about you?
Look at that. So small world. So I'm very familiar with South Lake Carroll. The Dragons, I think, is what they are. Okay. South Lake Carroll is a big football school. Very, very, very good at football. So this was their high kicking team, or their dance team.
Are they a pretty affluent town, pretty affluent school district?
I would say affluent. I mean, it's very middle class.
Okay.
It's not high end, but they're very they're fair middle class, I will say.
Okay. All right.
But they did mention that they are a small town, and I started thinking about that. I'm like, I don't know if it's really a small town. Population 29,000. I would consider that small town.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this summer I'm moving from a town of 5,000 to a town of 10,000. So
okay,
I feel like I'm moving up to the big city.
There you go. So, it's suburbs of Fort Worth, Texas. For all of you that on your little geography lesson, here you go. So this was their dance team, or at least a high kicking team. I don't know a whole lot about, South Lake dance teams, but they mentioned that this is their dance team and they're doing the high kick routine. And this was a pretty big dance group.
Yeah, I tried to count,
Okay,
and I got really close to 80 of them on the stage.
that's a lot.
Eight, 80. Yeah, that's a
That's a lot.
lot of kids.
Because I think when it started out as a very small group. There's probably what 10 or 12 on the stage, and then all of a
Right.
sudden a whole bunch of them just came
They
out
just
of the
keep on
audience,
coming.
like
Yeah.
down the aisles, scared the bejesus out of Howie. So, and then they all go
Maybe
up.
that's what he didn't care for about him. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what big surprising. I mean, they looked fantastic. They were in sync. The high kicks were great. He compared them to the Rockettes, and I'm
Yep.
not sure if someone earlier. I mean, because for him to bring up the Rockettes, I mean, Rockettes are a very famous high kicking group.
They are the only high kicking group that I know exists
Okay, there you
outside
go.
of the
There you go.
Emerald Bells drill team.
There, there you go. So someone must have brought up the Rockettes because he just spouted that off. Which I kind of thought about the Rockettes, but if you watch the Rockettes, they don't actually go all the way up in their kicks. They only go halfway up on their kicks.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
so they're not well known for the really kicking above their head. They're not known for that. They're known for their accuracy and their meticulousness of their kicking
okay.
routines, not the complexity of their kicking routines, but the
Oh,
accuracy, the cleanliness of their kicking routines, which is why they don't go all the way up. They only go up so far. So to compare them, they were kicking all the way up above their heads. But I thought their routine was just as clean and just as accurate and just as meticulous. I was blown away by this.
okay.
For a high school group, this was fantastic.
Yes. Um, the comments I wrote down, I said their choreographer did a very good job of using their costuming to create some good effects.
Agree. Ooh, good
And
catch. Yeah.
they used the stripes on their uniforms in really good effect, and that doesn't work if they're not all in their right spot at the right time, like to the millisecond. So
Yeah.
they really did a great job with that. The big finale, everybody jumps up, they land in the splits. It's one of those moves that just makes a guy kind of cringe. But yeah, I mean, like you said, they were clean. They were in sync. They were uh, everything that you would want a drill team, a dance team to be is very much in the right spots at the right times. Um, I guess I didn't feel like this was something that I saw going through or for lasting long in the competition. Um, it's what do I say about dance groups? You got to show me something I've never seen before, and I'm not sure that they showed me anything that I've never seen before. Um, eh, they were good. They were even great, but they weren't fresh. Maybe would be the right word. Um, getting to the judges' comments, how he compared them to the Rockettes, but he said they're not even close to that level. Possibly subjective, as you brought up. Gabrielle said, reminiscent of a movie I was once in. And you girls brought it.
Yeah. Did you ever see Bring It On?
I did, but it's been 20 years.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
When did
even.
it come out?
Yeah. Let's see. Bring It On.
Uh,
That came out in 2000. So
in
yes, 19
2000, yeah.
years.
Yeah, okay. All right. That was a lucky guess. Uh,
Six out of 10 on IMDb. 63 on Rotten
yeah.
Tomatoes.
Okay. I do remember it having some funny parts and being an enjoyable movie. I didn't remember it being something that I wanted to emulate. Julianne said they were cohesive and collectively beautiful. Simon said it's time for someone to replace the Rockettes. So that's that.
Yeah,
They
let's
got.
slow our roll on that.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Three yeses. One no was from Howie. Um, they're fine. They're in sync. They're clean. The worst dancer of the 80 of them is still a very good dancer. They were very flexible. They were very, very in sync. They were very deserving of all the accolades they get. I have seen enough.
And I think that's fair. I mean, we've talked. We're not big fans of dance groups.
Yeah,
For some reason I like this a little bit better. I may have geography bias a little bit on
certainly.
this,
Yeah,
but I kind of enjoyed this a little bit. I thought they were much more. I thought the routine looked better than some of the other dance groups that we've seen, where they're usually much smaller. I think the larger ones kind of give better effects than some of the smaller dance groups.
yeah,
Because, like you say, with their costuming, then they can do certain things to kind of give certain illusions and certain looks. So that's part of it as well. And I've always wondered. I think we've had dance or high school dance groups on here before, and if you watch some of the montages, they'll have like high school cheerleaders or high school bands or whatever it may be. And I've always wondered if they go through and they do end up winning it, how is the money divvied up? Then who continues on? Who continues on performing over the next 4, 5, 6 years?
right.
Do they
Yeah,
get? Do they have to do their school performances as well as their Vegas performances? I was
right.
just kind of always wondered, how does all of that really work out? We've never really seen any go far enough to kind of see that scenario possibly happen. But
Yeah,
I've just always
yeah.
been interested to see how that would work.
Right.
Yeah.
I do remember one. Golly, I don't even remember her name. Sophie, maybe. She's like a little 3-year-old. Just the most adorable thing you ever saw. A little singer, and like as she was advancing into the rounds, like the judges started to say, like, guys, let's not vote her through. She's only 3, and like we have to think about what's best for her. Like, why did you even put her through the first time if you're going to be
Yeah.
giving us this? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
And what about that little 3-year-old DJ from South Africa that we talked about
oh
in
yeah,
Champions?
yeah,
I mean, so I kind of like that we had a little dissension. It didn't make sense in this point with Howie because this was a group worthy of getting a yes. For him to say that they needed to work harder, it didn't make sense. But I did kind of like that we finally did have one of the judges turn and say, and I would kind of like to have seen a little bit more arguing in there between the judges on this.
yeah.
So
No, that's fine. It's not. It's not something that's I think going to win America's Got Talent. Uh, I do love it when a dance group tells us a story. If they could include some story to their dance routine, that would be fine.
yeah,
Um,
I,
so
I would be surprised if they make it through judge cuts.
I would agree with that,
Yeah,
especially for 80 of them. Like just the logistics of it are crazy. So
yeah, yeah. Okay, so then we get some like families montage because we get was it the Masoudi brothers?
Masoudi brothers, that's what I would say. Karim, Yassine, and Sophine. They were born in Australia. They used to do performing with their father, but their father retired. And we got 3 very well built gentlemen who do hand balancing. Um, First, they take off their jackets. One brother is lying flat on his back, and he's got both his arms and his legs straight up in the air. One brother does a handstand on his feet. The other does a handstand like hand to hand. So that was their kind of first trick. They get out of that. They take off another layer. They take their shirts off. Uh, One brother's back on his back, and he's got his hand straight up. The second brother balances hand to hand, more like horizontal than straight up, while the third brother balances with one hand on the back of the horizontal brother's neck. So if that makes any sense. But all 3 of them were stacked on top of the one brother. I guess the 2 of them were stacked on top of the one brother, um, almost like an acro balance kind of performance. Before their next set, they do not take off another layer of clothing. They keep their pants on. One brother on his back, his legs are straight up. The second brother, he's horizontal, balanced like hand to hand, and then his knees are over the other brother's feet, while the third brother is cantilevered, handstanding on the second brother's shins. So first he's vertical, and then he like moves his body into horizontal, then back to vertical, and then they dismount and bow for the judges. I hope that made a little bit of sense to you guys listening. Well, I hope you just watched it, and maybe I waste my breath.
It was very impressive to see 3 of them.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I liked seeing 3 of them because we've seen like the Kristoff brothers, we've seen like a father-son, we've usually seen a husband-wife. It's usually some sort of couple. This was nice to kind of see 3 of them. They can bring in some new, some different types of routines, some different types of balances. One can be horizontal, and then one can be on top of him. So it's kind of interesting, all these different combinations that we can have now with the 3 of them.
Your opportunities to balance different ways just explode with 3 bodies instead of 2, right?
Right. So it would have been fascinating to see what they were doing with their dad. So with 4 of them, you can do cubes, you can do all different types of shapes, or I guess squares. You really couldn't do cubes because you would need 9 of them, but or 8 of them. So it's so I kind of like this. The women seem to like it. The women get excited about it. So, there's that.
I've tried taking my shirt off in public, and I have never gotten a reaction like they did.
I've never gotten that reaction either. It's usually completely opposite. Is that they kept saying, take it off, and I do it. They're like, no, put it back on. So they brought out Terry. Right. I was gonna say they brought out Terry at the end.
Yeah. It's good to see Terry interact with him a little bit. He. What did he do? He was just sitting on the chair, and the guy balanced up on his hands. But
yes,
Terry, of course, looked like a master doing it, like he'd done it 1,000 times.
Yeah,
this was good. We've seen a lot of balancing duos. I'm not sure that we've ever seen a hand balancing trio. Their opportunities are endless. The things that they can do, the ways that they can balance themselves and contort themselves with that kind of strength, that kind of, I don't know, that sexiness, right? They're going to get a lot of people voting for them. They delivered on showing me something I've never seen before. They've got a little bit of pizzazz. They've got some good stage presence. What could they do better? How could they improve their act for you, Cody?
They probably have to bring some sort of prop into it.
Okay.
I'm not sure what, but they would need to bring a prop in as well.
I was thinking like a comedy element, if that works.
Yeah, these guys don't seem like they're a comedic type. They're not the Kristoff brothers.
They're not.
So they're serious about their craft. They don't want to introduce any type of comedic element to it at all.
Yeah, and we only saw them do 3 sets. I'd love to see more. I'd love to see them take a little more time on the stage. Were you timing these when you watched the other night?
No, I didn't. I watched the other night, and then I watched again tonight, and I forgot to time both times. None of these really seemed overly long. They didn't seem like 6 minutes or 8 minutes like Eric Chin.
Yeah, none of them felt crazy. And that first night, I think we had 9 acts go through, and this time I think we had 11. So
okay, yeah, they packed a little more in.
Packed a little bit more, and I liked the pace of this episode a little bit better.
Agreed, and we're also seeing more variety. Normally, we'll see like 8 singers, but we're seeing singers, we're seeing dancers, we're seeing danger act, we're seeing comedian. They're mixing more things into a show.
Yeah, I'm loving the more variety. And speaking of variety, the next act here is what was their name?
Yeah, real quick before that, we get just a little quick thing where they're back in I guess it's the green room or the dressing room, and Julianne is doing something with incense.
Okay, yeah, I didn't catch that.
So Howie's getting all freaked out because Julianne is like burning some incense back in the. I don't know. It seemed kind of interesting that she's. So.
I didn't make any notes about the judge shenanigans this time.
That just fell flat then. I think it was meant to lead into the next act, but
all right, yeah,
it just seemed interesting. It seemed interesting to me.
A group from India. They gave their names, and I backed it up 7 times and put on the captions to catch their names. We had Kramjit,
Yes.
Kawaljit, and
Okay.
Jagdeep.
Yeah.
And I understand they go by the name Bir Khalsa, BIR space KHALSA.
Yeah. Okay. I think I had everything, but I had an I instead of an A, but it could be.
All right.
But yeah, that's pretty good. Good job.
Yeah, so Bir Khalsa. Jagdeep is famous for being the world's tallest policeman.
Yeah, that's a tall dude.
He is a big dude. He is 7 feet 6 inches tall. Wears size 20 shoes.
Yes.
He's big.
He's a big dude and a very deep voice.
Yeah. Tell us about the act, would you?
It's kind of hard to explain this one, but I'll do my best because basically, and these guys are a little funny. They kind of, the interesting way that they met because they were literally walking down a road and just like met each other.
Yeah.
Like one of the guy walked up to one of the other guys and said, "Hey, will you be my manager?" And he's like, "Sure." They just,
of course,
yeah. And then one of the guys just met the tall dude, the 7'6" dude, and just said, "Hey, you want to be on our show?" And I'm like, "Sure." So.
I can find something for you to do in my show.
Yeah. You seem like an interesting guy. I'm sure there's something you could do. So they literally met going down the road.
Yeah, they were walking down the street, and then they existed.
Yes. So the act it's a danger act, and I'm not even going to attempt to get these names right. But anyway, the tall dude, the 7'6" dude, lays down on the ground, and he's then surrounded by melons and coconuts.
Yeah.
And one of the other guys gets salt poured in his eyes with his eyes closed, which it sounded like Julianne said so that he doesn't try to peek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he opened his eyes, he would not be comfortable.
Yeah, okay. So poured salt in his eyes, or I guess over his eyes, not really in his eyes, and then blindfolded him, and then put a hood over his head.
Right. So he is completely blind, or
yes,
that's what we're led to believe. I have no reason to believe otherwise, other than it doesn't seem possible.
Yes. So then he goes and grabs a sledgehammer.
Right.
And then he just starts whacking away at the coconuts and the melons that are surrounded around the 7'6" guy. And we're talking inches away from his body.
Yeah, it looked like, the handle would sometimes bump him or be close to him, or like the business end of the hammer would be just ridiculously close. And
yes.
I have no idea how they pulled this off.
Right.
It was spectacular.
Yes. I mean, the places he was banging, his feet, his knees, his legs, the guy had his legs spread. He was getting really near his gentlemanly parts. His hands, his shoulders, and then the finale right above his head.
Yes. Yeah. This was a good danger act. I like to believe, I like to understand that there's some trick to it, but man, this looked legitimately dangerous. Like a sledgehammer to the kneecap, or the forehead, or your gentlemanly parts, as you put it. That's life. That's like a life-altering accident.
Absolutely, yes.
And that seemed like a very, very real possibility. Even if Kawaljit was not blindfolded, it seems like that's a possibility, like a real, legitimate possibility.
Yes,
So,
I've used a sledgehammer, and I will guarantee you, I have not hit the target every single time. And I've been doing it fully visible, not blindfolded.
Not blindfolded.
So,
the judges liked it. Howie said this seemed like the craziest, most dangerous thing I've ever seen. Gabrielle said it was like the scariest horror movie. Julianne said, I've never seen anything like this before. Simon just called it unbelievable. This was absolutely something I've never seen before either.
No, this was a lot of fun to see, especially with a guy that's 7'6".
Yeah, at a minimum, it had the appearance of extreme danger. They are memorable. There's not a lot of build-up to the act. They just kind of got to work.
Yeah, and that happens with some of these danger acts. They just come out, they know what they're going to do, and they just do it. There's not a lot of banter. There's not a lot of storytelling. It's like, hey, we're going to go bang and like throw some stuff.
Yeah, the human fuse. I would have liked him to just get down to work like this. But yeah, and what could they do better next time? Like, get the editors off the business. Fewer judge shots, fewer audience reaction shots. And I'd like, boy, I don't know how they do it, but it is good for my heart if I have some kind of assurance that they've got things under control.
Yeah.
But yeah, boy, that was something.
I did think, going back to previous seasons, I think Mel B would have buzzed this.
Yeah, I think she would. I think that she wouldn't have watched it. She would have buzzed it, and it would have been the kind of thing that she does not care for.
Yes.
And that's her prerogative. She's allowed.
Yes. There's just moments in these two episodes, Jay, that I'm longing for some Mel B hijinks.
Oh boy. You know what? I'm really okay with judges that actually watch the acts.
Okay. There you go. I'm on board with that too.
All right. Act number 6. We've got
real quick, sorry.
Okay.
I gotta talk about some judge stuff here.
Okay.
Did you know Simon does not have a cell phone?
Because it would...
Let me rephrase that. Are you surprised that Simon doesn't have a cell phone?
I was surprised to learn on the episode that Simon does not have a cell phone.
Okay.
Logistically, he probably doesn't need it. He's got assistants. He's got people around him with a cell phone all the time.
True.
Why would he need one?
That is absolutely true. You don't think he does his own social media?
No.
Or you think he just has an assistant that says, hey, hand me a cell phone. It's already logged in his account. He just does his thing and hands it back.
He just dictates it, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Boy, yeah. I again didn't take notes on the judges' shenanigans.
Sorry. Hey, that's what I'm here for. I got to keep track of what the judges do.
Yeah, you keep track of that.
Okay. So go ahead and talk about G-Force.
Oh, you're gonna make me? All right. We got Ava.
It's basically preteen Spice Girls, right?
Yeah, preteen Spice Girls. That's a pretty good way to put it.
Okay.
Ava, who's 11. Holly, who's 10. Sarah's 12. Michaela's 12. Sienna is 12. They grew up taking dance and music, and they met one day, and now they're best friends forever, and they're going to do an original song for us. I took some lyrics down.
Okay.
Break the internet. We're going viral.
Yep.
Don't be jealous because we just girls. We're not teens yet, but we still gonna break the bank. Don't hate because we just girls.
Well, good. Now I have the intro for this week's episode.
All right.
I don't know if that still beats Boom 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 yet or not.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Like, there is a audience for these girls that will give ear-piercing screams and will love them, and that's great. I am not that audience. Howie said, "You entertain us. You make me feel like a little girl again." Gabrielle said, "You guys are absolutely rock stars." Julianne called them female empowerment divas. Never too young to dream big. Simon said it's all about being authentic, and I'm not sure that authentic is the word that I would have used.
Yeah. They want to be viral and break the internet and break the bank.
Yeah. You know what? They're cute. They're innocent. They sing and dance. It's not just one or the other. I could understand most of the lyrics. On the other hand, they're not the world's best dancers or singers. I'm not sure that trying to improve one or the other, or even both, is going to make them a winning kind of act. But they got 4 yeses from the judges. This is not my thing. I've got nieces that this is definitely their thing.
Well, and I think that's what Gabrielle said, is that she has a daughter that's 11 years old, and that they're going to be singing this, or at least playing this, over and over and over while in the carpool lane. Not the carpool lane, the drop-off lane.
Right.
So yeah, right. There is an audience for this, and it's that 10, 11, 12 year olds.
Yeah.
Now, you kind of skipped over some important things here, Jay.
What did I skip over?
So you forgot to talk about what they call each other.
You know what? I did not take that down.
Okay.
Could you remind me?
Yes. So now I don't know which one is which, but I wrote down that they all have G at the end of their name. So kind of like Spice Girls, you have Baby Spice and Scary Spice. Well, here you have Zen G. So, very zen, keeps them calm. I think they did Waterfalls. Got to stay calm, stay cool. Then you got OG, which is not original gangsta. It's Overprepared Girl.
Overprepared Girl.
Overprepared Girl, yeah. Then you have Boss G.
Who's the boss girl?
Yep. Speedy G.
Okay.
And Hype G.
Hype G.
Hype G, yes.
Okay.
So they all have their little names. They're from Toronto, so Howie's excited about that.
Oh, I missed that they were Canadian. Okay.
Yeah, they're Canadian. Yep. And I don't know if you noticed this, but your kids may be a little young for this. How old are your kids, if you don't
5
mind?
and 8, yeah.
Okay. So they're maybe a little bit young. They might be kind of in this demographic, but they sound a little bit like Kids Bop. I don't know if you've ever listened to Kids Bop. It seemed like that's kind of what it sounded like. They did have good harmonies. They were in tone. The lyrics, like you mentioned, the lyrics they're okay, but they can sing, and they sing in that demographic. So Kids Bop, Radio Disney, that's kind of what I thought it sounds like.
Yeah, like I could totally see them having a Disney show that lasts for 3 or 4 seasons. Like that's totally something they could do. I could see them, having I don't know, some kind of a stage show or a touring show or so, like
a Hannah Montana type show.
Yeah. Okay. But it's Nickelodeon or Disney or whatever kids are watching these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a place for them in the world. I'm not going to be buying any of anything they produce.
No, but
unless my children are begging for it.
Yeah, and they're probably still a couple years away from that.
Yeah.
So at least your oldest one is. So I thought they were fun. I thought it was fine. They've got a thing. They've got a theme. They're not just 5 random girls. They've got a thing. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yep. Okay, so you want to move on to Adeline Bates?
Oh, I'd love to.
Go ahead. You sound excited about this. Go ahead.
It might have been my favorite act of the night.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. Yeah.
She was so much fun. Adeline Bates, she is 83 years old.
63 years old.
I'm sorry, 63 years old. I read my notes wrong. It says 63 on my screen. She tells us that she has a 4-octave range.
Yeah.
She joined a singing group at 17. Life happened. They broke up. I looked it up quick. As a rule of thumb, a typical person has about a 2-octave range.
Okay.
Usable range. So, she banters with the judge a little bit. She's kind of this grandma type. She says she's going to sing. They invite her to sing. She says, I need to go prepare. And she walks off the stage. And there's a moment of awkwardness as she prepares herself. She comes back on. She's wearing a half suit and half, like, ballroom dress or gown.
I was confused by this when I first saw it.
I think that's kind of the thing, is it's confusing. She has a makeup beard on the side with the suit, and she complete with a half of a bow tie, right down the middle. And then she goes on to sing both Nat King Cole's and Natalie Cole's parts in Unforgettable.
Yeah.
And she nails it.
She nails it. Yeah.
Just wonderful. So when she's doing Nat King Cole, she's standing with the suit side towards the audience, so you can kind of see her profile, and she's singing Unforgettable. And then she turns and she does the Natalie Cole, and she just has that little bit of a sass to her voice, that little bit of jazzy to it. She's this totally down to earth, grandma type. Like, she totally humble and just the weirdest thing you would imagine somebody doing with that demeanor. Um, Howie said you have great range. You're unique. Gabrielle said at 63, you did 2 performances. And I love that this is what me time looks like. Julianne said it's fun and entertaining. You're rad. Simon said, I love being surprised. It's both funny and good. And I thought that was maybe the insight of this. Is like, it's legitimately good singing and it's legitimately humorous.
Agreed. And I give props to the cameraman and production as well to really focus in on, like, when she's turned, you only see that side. So you don't see the other side. So I thought they positioned that and they positioned it very well so that when she's on the Natalie Cole side, you only see that, and when she's on the Nat King Cole side, you only see that. So that was fantastic.
Imagine anybody you know over the age of 50 doing this. Like, I just can't, and that's what makes it so wonderful. She's incredibly humble, just incredibly likable and lovely. The costuming, I imagine that she just made that all herself, and it just from head to toe, from top to bottom, beginning to end, I loved it.
Agreed. What other songs do you think she sings in this manner, or do you think she does this again?
You know what? That's a question that I wrote down as well. What else can she do? I'm a little bit I'm a little bit concerned about her range stylistically, not vocally. Like this song, this Nat King Cole Unforgettable, this one that Natalie Cole produced here, what was that, 25 years ago now? I remember when that came out and that being so unique, right? They used the technology to mix her voice with Nat King Cole. I don't know what other song I could see her doing.
Yeah, does she do Dolly? Yeah, does she do Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers' "Islands in the Stream"?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I'm not sure where she's going to take it. I'm sure she's got a handful more songs up her sleeve. If she can put together a whole episode's worth, we're in good shape.
I think
concert's worth, a whole album's worth, I guess is what I mean to say.
Absolutely. Now she'd have a costume change in between each one. So maybe she need to get with the quick change teams to kind of figure out how to get from one costume to another. Yeah,
maybe get along with one of those quick changers from the past and make it happen. She's great. I really enjoyed this act. I'm confident she's going to make it through the judge cuts. I don't know how deep she's going to go. I think she's probably a pretty niche audience.
Okay.
Kind of like G-Force. It's kind of a niche audience, but as much as I am not G-Force's audience, I'm here all day long for Adeline Bates.
Now, I didn't mention this when we talked about the joke at the beginning, but I just want to remind everyone I do have a Spotify playlist where I put the song that was covered in the playlist. So I'm kind of keeping track of that throughout the season. So if you just go to Spotify and do a search for, America's Got Talent, then a playlist under my name, Cody Patterson, should come up. I'll also include a link to the playlist in the show notes. So if you kind of want to go through and hear what songs were sung, hear the original songs that were sung, I keep track of that. So it's kind of a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, and people take advantage of that and then reach out and give us some constructive criticism, please. All right, do you want to tell us about our I guess, first comedian, maybe stand-up comedian, we'll call it, of the night?
Yeah, I will, but real quick, I got to do another a change that happened. Not a change, but one of those things they kind of show before the act. But they showed the production crew cleaning the stage.
Yeah.
I don't know if you kind of paid attention to that. And I was just curious, was that after the golden buzzer?
Quite possibly.
It kind of looked like there was confetti and whatnot kind of laying about. They were like tidying up all the golden confetti.
You are a little more into some of this behind the scenes stuff, I guess. You're more tuned into that than I am.
Yeah, I'm kind of into the fringe things when it comes to, when you hear like, 24 yeses from the show, you got to find all these little other things to kind of entertain yourself. So, I don't know. It's just some of those little things kind of fascinate me. I'm a behind the scenes type person. I like to know how things work. So when I see stuff like that, it's like, was that when they did one of the golden buzzers? So, Ryan Niemiller.
That's what I got. Ryan
Niemiller, yeah.
Niemiller, yeah.
Yep. A comedian who was born with a birth defect.
Yeah.
His arms are a little shorter than normal.
Like he had no forearms, almost like his hands, or what was of his hands, was like at his elbow.
Yes, and I think he also had some fingers missing. Like he only had maybe 2 or 3 fingers on each hand.
Yeah, but other than that, like a completely normal-looking gentleman.
Absolutely. And he introduces that into his act, which I love about comedians. When you introduce your own type, even Lost Voice guy. Who was it? The guy that had Tourette's from.
Shoot! Yeah, I'm not gonna get his name. But
when you introduce those type of things into your act, I think that makes it real special. It's very personal, which I really like in a comedian. So he talks about that, and even mentioned in his package that as a kid he would try to make people laugh so that they weren't making fun of him. Because if he was making fun of himself before they were, then everything was great.
Yeah, definitely a defense mechanism. But you know what? It has honed his skills, and he's very, very good.
He is very good. He starts off talking about how he used to juggle chainsaws.
But he got out of it.
He got out of it because of the politics.
Because of the politics,
yeah. He also said he wanted to be a pro wrestler, and he wanted to be called the Cripple Threat.
The Cripple Threat, yeah.
Which I think was his Twitter handle. I'll have to go back and double check that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll have to... I'll have to triple check that, but I think that might have been his Twitter handle. I usually write down the Twitter handles, and for some reason I didn't write his down. But yeah, I actually was hoping, because with Howie there, I think this guy was Golden Buzzer worthy.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. And we normally don't get the comedians as a Golden Buzzer.
No.
But I thought this guy was Golden Buzzer worthy. He was funny.
I thought he was very good. He made a couple other jokes that I made a note of. We had... there's a technical term for this. It's called being very handsome. People will ask him, is that genetic? And he says, yes, my mom is Irish and my father is a lobster. He definitely leans into his birth defect. That's what he is. He was good. Judges loved him. What's great about him? Like he's able to tell jokes that nobody else can. Like he has truly unique material that I've never heard before.
Absolutely.
He's got a really great delivery. Did you end up watching any Survivor?
I actually did not watch an episode.
Okay.
They're all recorded on my DVR.
That's fine. He reminds me, just like in his composure, in his delivery, and even in his look, of one of the breakout stars. Rick Devens was his name.
Okay.
From Tennessee. That's what it kind of reminded me of. I didn't know if that would ring a bell with you. To you Survivor fans out there, you can chime in and agree with me. What could he do better next time? As much as I love the material that's unique to his situation, and I love that he leans into it, he didn't give us anything else. There was nothing that wasn't related to his arms or to his birth defect.
I'm hoping he's just holding back on that.
Yeah. I hope that there's more to it. Like that's kind of a one-trick pony. But again, like he's using that, and he should milk that as much as he can, because it gives him good material. Again, that we've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, it sounds like he's touring, because he talks about having to live in his car, going from comedy comedy place to comedy place. So it sounds like he is touring. So he may have more to this. And I agree with you that this was a nice introduction to him.
Yep.
But we need for him to broaden that more as the season goes along.
Yep. What are we going to next time? So that's good. All right. Act number 9, Light Balance Kids.
Yes.
I wrote, it's like Light Balance, but kids.
Hey, that's exactly what I wrote. It's Light Balance, but with kids. That's exactly what I wrote.
So, I don't know. If you know Light Balance, you know Light Balance Kids. They introduce themselves. It's 4 of them on the stage. When the act actually starts, more of them join them, but we don't get to see them. I think I saw that there was 13 maybe total. Lots of like interacting with the screen, with the technology. A lot of times where they're like standing in a line and the light flashes from the person in the middle out to the out edges of the stage and then back to the middle, right? And that whole time those people just need to stand in their right spot, but they definitely have to stand in the right spot. It's Light Balance, they were fine.
Whoa, Light Balance was fine?
We've seen that style of act before.
So are you talking about like OG Light Balance was fine?
I'm talking about OG Light Balance was fine.
Oh wow. Whew,
Light Balance Kid is fine but less.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. They're good. Okay. This is another act that I just really wish that they could put a camera on the stage and just let it be.
Agreed.
And maybe that's what I don't like about these acts, like that I've never seen them live. The producers just can't get their grubby little fingers off of it, and they just really make it hard to watch. They make it hard to appreciate what in the world they're doing. I'd love to see some new tricks. I don't know what they can do that the original Light Balance couldn't do. Being Light Balance but cuter is just not gonna.
But is it cuter? Like if you had Light Balance up there and Light Balance Kids, other than maybe being able to tell the difference in their
stature,
dance experience. Well, stature, dance experience.
Okay.
Other than that, would you be able to tell if it was adults or kids?
No, I wouldn't, and I think that's maybe what I don't like about it.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I love Light Balance. I love OG Light Balance. They're fantastic. Okay. This was again Light Balance, but with kids. It didn't feel new and fresh.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was nothing fresh.
There was nothing fresh. If they had just come out wearing their suits and not told us ahead of time that it was kids, and we found out afterwards, we would have just thought, oh, well, Light Balance is doing an exposition for us, and then they show up as kids. Then there might have been some wow factor there, but just watching it had been like, oh, wow, Light Balance is back. That's great.
Well, if Light Balance can't win the show, then Light Balance Kids cannot.
Correct. Yeah, and Light Balance even got the golden buzzer.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I could tell you when they told us beforehand that it was kids, and I was watching it, I'm like, oh, I can tell it's kids because the dancing is not as good. You can tell it's kids dancing.
Yeah.
But if you had not told me beforehand, I don't know if I would have noticed a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
My wife actually thought the technology, she thought this looked better than OG Light Balance. She thought the technology looked better, and I'm thinking, well, it's been 2 years. Surely they've improved the technology, and if the kids' technology is better, the adult technology is also better.
Right. Yeah.
So
it might be fun to see what the adults could do with it these days.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If the kids make it to the finals, then do the adults come back like in the finale and like they do one big show?
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. I do not expect to see the Light Balance Kids in the finals, but
okay.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Mark that down, everybody.
All right.
Jay's made a prediction.
Put it in the books.
Did you notice the Iron Man suit? I mean, they focused hard on that Iron Man suit.
Yeah, they did.
So do you think that they're looking at that as the Iron. I mean, that's my first thought. Do you think Marvel's like, hey, they're using our Iron Man suit?
Boy, I'd sure like to hope that they got some kind of clearance for it,
Okay.
or if not like legal clearance, like lawyers know what they can and can't put on stage.
Okay. I don't know if it was like, hey, this might be an Iron Man suit, or just a red suit with a white light dot in the middle.
Yeah,
So
it happens to have lasers in the palms.
that's right. That's right, and can fly. So,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
light balance
No,
kids. That's there you go.
that's light balance kids. I was a little underwhelmed.
Okay.
Next act, again, I'd have to say I was a little underwhelmed. We had Nicholas Wallace. They ask him what he does. He says, I dabble in the strange and unusual.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about his act?
I don't know if I'll do my best. I tried to really understand this guy, and I'm still confused. Because you know how much I love the clairvoyance. And it seemed like he is a clairvoyant. He says he talks to ghosts or the other side, is what he kept talking about. So he has this story about a hotel and a creepy doll and a creepy chair, and apparently someone died in this chair, and if someone sits in the chair, then like the other side can talk to the person in the chair and make him do weird and crazy things because of this like doll. Or so he brings Gabrielle up on stage, blindfolds her, puts her in this chair, and has this doll in his hand, and when he does something on the doll, then Gabrielle's supposed to raise her right hand.
Right.
So it seems creepy, but at the same time, it's like it's not a good weird. It's like a bad weird. Like it didn't seem like a good act at all.
It didn't seem like a good act. I agree. His presentation was lackluster. I don't know if they edited it down, but like he's like, I've got a haunted rocking chair. It kills people.
Yeah.
Also, I have a doll.
I think he's trying to be like Colin Cloud.
Yeah,
like part Colin Cloud, part clairvoyance. I think he's trying to be both of them.
But he's not either. He's not pulling it off.
No, he's bad at it.
Yeah. The judges liked it. Julianne said, I literally do not know how that happened. Simon said, creepy is the best compliment I can give you.
Yeah.
Howie said he loved the presentation, and you're amazing. Gabrielle said, I got touched a bunch.
Yeah. And how he wanted the chair out of there. Like, he was freaked out by the chair, but he also liked it for some reason.
I think that was just the for the cameras.
His comedic side.
Yeah.
Did Gabrielle not vote?
I don't know.
They gave him 3 yeses.
Yeah, we'll call it 4, or I don't know, 3.
Okay, because Simon specifically said that's 3 yeses.
3 is the minimum to go through.
Okay.
So she's through with 3. Gabrielle only was a part of the act, not really witnessing it. So,
okay.
I could imagine that they chose not to give her a vote based on that. Okay. I don't know.
Not that we're going to talk or reveal it, but do you kind of have any suspicions about how this works?
I do a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't fully know.
Yeah, I kind of have some suspicions, but I'm like you. I'm like, I don't really fully know. There's only one aspect of it that I can only one possible thing I can think of how it works. But
yeah,
I don't think he goes through. I don't think he goes past Judge Cuts.
Yeah, I don't tend to care for the I can communicate with the dead kind of acts. And it's a magic act, right? It's a trick.
It is. Yeah. But you have to be good at it.
Yeah, and I don't know how he does it, but that doesn't mean that he's good at it. His presentation is still a little lacking. It's a pretty good trick, actually. I don't know fully how it's done. He pulled it off successfully. I want some better material next time. Maybe a little bit better setup, a little bit better. I don't know. This felt like edited. It felt weird. Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see it past judges' cuts. I'd agree with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And then we've got Joseph Allen, our 21-year-old singer-songwriter. He said he's the youngest of 12 siblings
In a blended family.
in a blended family.
Yeah.
Um, Now, I was confused because he walks out on stage and, like, the audience is cheering for him. And they're like, woo, Joseph Allen. And I'm thinking, should I know who this guy is?
No, because, like, all of his family is in the audience.
Yeah, apparently, just a few dozen family members will really, kind of get the audience on your side. So, what did you think of Joseph Allen? Well, I guess we can say that he's a singer. He's got like a sort of a tenor voice. His chorus was real smooth. It has like a rap part in the middle.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you thought he was a singer or a rapper.
I guess I'd call him a freestyle rapper or a rapper. But it's okay to have a chorus. It took the lyrics of the chorus down. It says, in life, moments come and go. Take your shot or you'll never know. Your heart will tell you when it's time to move. Ask yourself what you got to lose. When it storms, when it rains, it falls on all of us the same. But after today, the world's going to know my name. Those lyrics don't really mean a whole lot to me. Like, they may be poetic to him. I'm not sure that they really speak to my soul. The lyrics of the rap part, I didn't even attempt to take them down. It almost seemed like improvised, though. Did it to you?
Not really. I mean, you mean like he was just ad-libbing the whole thing?
Yeah.
I didn't get that at all.
Okay.
I felt this was practiced and rehearsed, and he knew what it was going to do. I don't think it was golden buzzer worthy. I don't think it's golden buzzer worthy at all.
Yeah. There's at least two other acts that I would give a golden buzzer to before this one, but Howie gave him the golden buzzer to put a cap on the show. He's kind of the entire package, right? He's well spoken, he's talented, he's attractive, he's sincere, he's humble, he's got buttery smooth vocals. I don't know. Maybe a little bit more range, maybe a little bit more personality in the song.
Yeah, I mean he's above average.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure he's golden buzzer worthy. I wonder if having the audience on his side, might have helped sway the entire audience and the judges panel as well. I don't know. This is not. I don't see this as a winning act.
Oh no, I don't see this as a winning act at all. So, but he'll go to the live shows.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if he gets out of quarterfinals.
Yeah. All right. Who's your best act of the night? Who's your golden buzzer of the evening?
So my golden buzzer would be Ryan Niemiller for The Comedian.
Okay.
Either that or Adeline Bates, one of those two.
Yeah, I think I would go Adeline Bates as my number one. But I'm also excited to see our what's her name? The Saudi brothers again.
Yes.
The hand balancers.
Oh yeah.
You know what? This was a lot of variety tonight. We had some comedians. We had the light balance kids. We had a couple of different singers. We had the danger act. We had the hand balancers. We had the high kickers. What a great episode. It felt different than the first episode. The first episode felt like they were really dragging stuff out longer. The only 9 acts went through on the first episode. 11 acts went through this time. So that's a little bit more squeezed in there. A little bit less on their intro packages. Not quite so much tear jerking going on.
Yeah, they seem to be doing less of those packages these days.
Yeah, at least in this episode. And totally okay with that.
Agreed.
I want to see more talent and less talking uh, less talking about the talent. That's what we're literally spending an hour doing tonight. So
Yeah, we don't want America's Got Feels.
right. Yeah, I guess that kind of puts a bow on the show. Any other thoughts? Any other thing that we need to talk about?
No. What would you these first two? You've given your grades before. What would you kind of give these first? What would you kind of grade these first two episodes?
Just the episodes.
Yeah, the episodes as a whole.
Okay. Well, let's recap the first episode real quick. I got my notes here. We had Greg Morton, the impressionist, Eric Chen, the magician, Sophie Pecora, singer-songwriter, Patrizio, our pianist, dancer. We had V Unbeatable, the big dance crew, Jackie Fabulous, our comedian, Gingzilla, the singer-entertainer, Brian Miser, and his wife, the human fuse, yawn, and Cody
Wow.
Lee, the blind autistic singer.
Tell it how it is with the human views.
After 14 minutes, I needed to get to bed, man. That episode, I'll give that one a B minus.
Okay. If they would have cut the human fuse a little bit and put another act in there, you could probably get a solid B plus in there.
You could put 2 more acts in there and get up to 11 finally.
Okay.
Like who am I still remembering from this? Right, we had Greg Morton, impressionist, pretty well. The magician, yeah. Dance crew, comedian. Ginzilla kind of stands out.
Yeah, that one really sticks out. I was at breakfast this morning, and there were several people talking about him.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that's that. Going back to pronouns real quick, I think Ginzilla might prefer she and her.
Okay.
But again, let's confirm that. So yeah, I'd give that one a B minus. It was not a great episode. There was plenty for me to complain about. On the editing side. 9 acts going through in 120 minutes is that's a lot.
Yeah.
Or
36 yeses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would have been more if it weren't for the golden buzzer, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And so here we had Jonathan Burns, our flexible comedian, Benny Bryant, our singer. We've got the High Kick, Emerald Bell's drill team, Emerald Bell's dance team. And I gotta say, they introduced themselves as a drill team, and then they switched to calling themselves a dance team, and I don't know which one it's supposed to be. So, the Emerald Bells.
and just on that as well, Gabrielle, when she did Bring It On, that was a cheerleading movie.
Yes.
So they kept comparing this.
Dancing.
Yeah, they kept comparing them to, they're like, oh, Gabrielle's out there. She was in a movie. Da-da-da-da. Well, it was a cheerleading movie. So.
Yeah, there must have been some kind of high kicking part of it that I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Our Danger Act, Beer Kalsa, that one's going to stick in my mind for a while. G-Force, Adeline Bates, I love her. Ryan Niemiller, our comedian. Light Balance Kids, Nicholas Wallace with his haunted rocking chair, and then finally Joseph Allen. Boy, this was, I think, a better episode on the whole.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know how many of these acts are going to really stick with me. How many are really going to hang with me for a long time. I have to give it a better rating than the last one, but I'm not sure it's a whole lot higher than a B minus.
B or B plus.
Maybe I'd go a C plus and a B minus on those 2 episodes.
Okay, fair enough.
I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think it will improve, especially as we get towards the later rounds and things are more polished and the producers know how to produce the acts. There's the ceiling is very high, and we're a long ways from it.
Okay, well,
So
I think that's all we have for this episode, Jay.
all right. Well, again, please reach out to us. Yeah, you're welcome for not sucking this time.
Maybe I'm the one that sucked this time. We'll have to see.
All right. Hey, have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, y'all have a great night. Bye.